Thanks for staying with us. We're talking about combating GBV, SGBV in this day and age. We're talking about some of the challenges. We have survivors here who are sharing their experiences, but we also want solutions. And that's part of what we'll be getting into even as we carry on with this discussion. Remember, 22422 is the SMS line. Hashtag is Daybreak. Before the break, Zilpa was weighing in on the same issues. But let me allow Joshua Nyolo, who's a program officer with LVCT, to talk to us. And Joshua, even as you speak about what men are going through, the statistics still show that women bear the brunt of SGBV. 1 in 3 Kenyan females have experienced an episode of sexual violence before 18 as compared to 1 in 5 men. And between 39 to 47% of Kenyan women will experience GBV in their lifetime. True. So men are victims or survivors, true, but more men are at a power position to support women going through GBV. What can men do? What must men do? Talk to us about that, even as you tell us about a campaign that I know you are recently involved in.
All right. So the most important thing that men should do in their relationship is to balance power. We have talked about the root cause of violence being power. So we need men to become partners, not patriots, but to become partners in their relationship so that they can discuss and share power in everything that they do. Men should be involved. These norms ambazo tunazungumzia, these ones we are talking of, wanaume hafai kubadilisha mtoto pampers, they cannot go to the kitchen, they cannot. These are things that are just outdated. Because when you support your partner, you realize there is less violence which is going to happen. Men who are in relationships where they are supporting their partners in everything that they do, in their business, in their work, and in their house chores at home, you realize violence is really not there in those relationships. Then the most important thing is also to discuss that change is possible. We need people to understand that change is possible. These things we are discussing of change, men need to change and support their partners. Norms that do not, support violence against women, we need to. It's not easy to have change because you realize most of the times when people discuss of change, people build walls. They don't want to accept change. It's not easy, but change is possible, and therefore. It's also important to realize that when anybody speaks of things that they don't like or things that they feel they're uncomfortable in their lives, whether it is a man or even a woman, we need to take them seriously. So if your partner tells you, I don't like this, this is not what I was looking in this relationship, they really need to start thinking about it. They need to seek support. Most importantly, we have a program that we have been running in Nairobi and in Nairobi County and Kiambu County. It's a Dreams project. It's for girls and women, but we have an intervention there called SASA, and that is the program that I've been supporting. It talks about norms change. It talks about balance of power in relationships. And I think if we can have these programs rolled out, where people, men and women, come together to discuss their personal issues, their relationship issues, then for sure we can bring some good change. And the men can start thinking that they need to be partners, not, patriarchs. Yes.
And there's a campaign, because we also want to talk solutions. If someone needs to make a call today, they are seeing something, tell us about Spot It, Stop It.
Yes, we did a study in Kibra, and we have been disseminating the information to the Kibra people. We have had many meetings, and it's about violence against children. Because when men and women are going through violence, especially at the family level, children are also going through violence in one way or the other. And you realize also it becomes something that is carried from generation to generation. Children who have gone through violence, they are likely to have violence, happen in their marriages or later in their lives. So we are saying that if you spot violence, you need to stop it. You need to report. And the most important, anybody can report cases of violence against children, whether it is, it's not a must that you be the parent or you be the guardian. Anybody, any man and woman in the society can just report to the police, the nearest police station, or to the children department that we have people who are going through violence and they are my neighbors or they are my friends. These children are my friends. And we have a toll-free number, which is 116. This is a national toll-free number for reporting cases of violence against children. And also at LVCT Health, we have a toll-free number, which is 1190 1190. And this number, anybody can call to report cases of violence, whether it's for men or women or children. And again, they can receive psychosocial support, you know, through that particular toll-free number. Online, they can call, they can be talked to. There are people, even right now, if they call this number, they will find a person.
24/7, they'll find someone. So 116 if you want to report children going through some form of abuse, yes. And 1190 for psychosocial support.
True.
So for those who are, someone is saying here, I'm seeing a lot of red flags in my relationship. I'm going through a lot. What can I do? 1190.
1190.
Call that number, please, for the viewer who sent us that message. But there's another SMS which I want both my guests on this end, Zipporah from a legal law, and of course Ken as a psychologist. Someone here says that this is an important discussion. He then goes on to say that his spouse is driving him into thinking of murder. Even after he says he's empowered them, I don't know what's going on in there. Please issue a warning. This is very serious.
Okay. One of the most underreported sexual and gender-based violence in its own umbrella is intimate partner violence. Mm-hmm. Intimate partner violence, because they are looking at the ins, the buy-ins, and the lose-outs. If I leave this relationship, where do I go? And poverty is also playing a very big role. So we need to start from within yourself. Do a SWOT analysis. What do I need is in this relationship? What can I give up? What can I lose at the expense of this relationship? And again, when people are negotiating on this, then there is a lot of let me see what tomorrow brings. Let me see what tomorrow brings. And as you wait for what tomorrow brings, let me wait for him to pay school fees this month, and then I'll get a job, and then you know, this negotiation, and you're doing it alone without seeking professional help. First of all, seek help. Don't be ashamed by the crime, and then you define yourself and confine yourself. Somebody said, when I am defined, when I accept to be defined by the society, when I accept to be defined by X, Y, Z, then I am confining myself into that definition. Spring out of it. I'm not asking you to get out of your marriage, but I want you to seek help. Whichever way help will come, whether you get it from a confidant, whether you get it from police, whether you get it from any institution, whether you get it from psychosocial services, get help. Stop to any counselors. There are so many. Make a call. Just at least report. It is better if you had reported and nothing was done than you didn't report and we are attending a funeral and people are asking us to give you a decent send-off. Your decent send-off in every abusive relationship starts with you. Do you want to die in this relationship? Do you want to mentally go berserk? Speak to someone. He's saying spot it, stop it. And I'm saying stop it, spot it, stop it, and report it. At least hold us responsible. I saw somebody saying, police are even the ones who don't receive our reports as men. The police say the police care is a game changer. It is telling you that we don't scare. We have stopped scaring you. And this is why we called it police care. Victim-centered. Listen to us. And you know, that's a mechanism. Demystify from it. Stop the labeling. Stop what you have said the police are. I always say, if you really hate pigs, why do you like sausages? Why would you order for a sausage? Yet you hate the pig. And then I learned something the other day. Stop cursing the Lord. Walk on it. Could you trust us with this innovation, and at least we have picked all the blame. We have bore all the blame. Come to us. We want to accelerate this response. We want to make the mechanism more responsive. We want to coordinate with others. For a very long time, tumekuwa utumishi kwa wote. And you know, we are proud. That's what gives us the immunity, the power, the privileges, utumishi kwa wote. But I'm asking, can we also come out from utumishi kwa wote and coordinate, collaborate with others, and we become utumishi sisi wote. But yeah, utumishi sisi wote.
Speaking of utumishi sisi wote, Ken, so this is, she's spoken on the side of the survivor, who is now a victim, who she said, you're a victim when you go to the police because you've gone through something. We want to transition you to be a survivor. But this man has, says he's a victim of something. He's not telling us what.
Yes.
He says he's being driven crazy by his spouse, but he speaks to the possibility of now committing a crime.
Yes.
How do you stop that?
What
should you tell him right now?
The moment you conceptualize, believe you me, you're going to do it. It's only that he has not yet found time. Walk away. And I like the way Zilpa put it.
Speak to him. Maybe he's what?
Yes,
Speak to that
please
camera.
walk away. Walk away, because things might go haywire and you might come to regret it later. Earlier on in the year, I think it's in April, the CS Margaret Kobia launched a national GBV helpline. To add to what Joshua has given, 1190, kindly call 1195. It's run by the national government. 1195,
if we're able to
it's toll
scroll
free.
some of those numbers, we have 1190, 1195.
Yes, and then
if we're able to scroll them down there, that would be good.
And we also have a helpline that is also toll free, run by the Kenya Red Cross, 1199.
1199.
Yeah, so okay. I don't know why the government decides 11, but we have 1190. We also have what she was talking about, people who go into drugs. We have a helpline that is run by Nakada, 1192. We have 1195, the GBV helpline, and we have 1199, the Kenya Red Cross, the councillors. Please don't do anything that you might come to regret later. What people don't know is sometimes it's okay to walk away and walk with your dignity, rather than to stay in a place where you're not being appreciated for who you are, and you lower yourself too much for the sake of the children, for the sake of the status in the society, for the sake of, I don't know what it is. Even churches, they only tell us till death do us part. But do you know there are people who are walking dead people? They already died.
Yes.
Relationships that have died, and people are still putting up with it for the sake. I did, Maura, I know you did a church wedding. Believe you me, and I know my priest is watching right now, another priest that were in my wedding. Believe you me, I would rather walk away when things go wrong. I walk away and I protect myself and I protect my wife and I protect my children. Sometimes even the children will come to understand it later when you do it today for their sanity, rather than they see their moms or their dad's coffin. You gave a very good statistic. 1 out of 3 women are being abused, and 1 out of 5 men are being abused. These ones who are being abused, there is a hope. We have counseling. We have counselors across the country. I know it comes at a cost, and that's why the government has subsidized an LVCT and other institutions that they are giving toll-free. If you cannot get help toll-free, please take a few coins and visit that professional counselor. I know I talk about this profession because it's the one that fends for us, and you cannot agree that every now and then counseling will be pro bono services, but go and see a professional who will assist you. And it only takes one of you for that relationship to work. This man who is feeling like he has done quite a lot, and he's feeling like now, I think I can kill somebody. You have reached that elastic limit, and you cannot go back until somebody now takes you back to factory settings in your brain. You're processing quite a lot. You have become hopeless. Maybe you're thinking nitamuua nijiue, and you know many people think of that direction. Nitamuua alafu nijiue sisi wote tupotee. Hakuna mtu, nobody of you is going to benefit from this. Kindly take time off from your wife, assuming now you are with her and you are intending to go home and do damage tonight. Go somewhere else. Call a friend, At the end of this, I will also give my contact. Go to my Facebook page, Expert Explainers. Like the page, send me a message. I will get you help from wherever you are. Even if it's the toll-free are not getting through, I will get you help. And counselors are always on standby to assist you. So please don't commit a crime. And I want to echo what she has said, that we have helplines. I was very shocked to Waihiga. I come from Odero, and I went to Kabete to just take a visit, and I found a very efficient gender desk in Kabete police station.
Okay.
I'm not vouching for them. I don't hold brief for them, but if that is what is happening in all police stations, believe you me, they are doing a wonderful job.
Thank you for that information. Zilpa, let me read a message here that I believe Zipporah will also respond to, but I want to hear from you on this one. Steve Juma says, there is a common notion that once you report to the police, you must show evidence. Most GBV cases go unreported because of lack of clear evidence, more so if it is emotional abuse. So Steve Juma wants to know, how can the police handle such cases? And I'll give you Zipporah a chance to do that. But Zilpa, for you, what were some of the things you were most scared of when you thought, I need to speak to someone, an authority, whether a counselor, someone from an institution like LVCT, someone from the police, for example? What were some of your fears, and how do you wish people out there who are involved in GBV and SGBV can be more supportive when survivors come to see them? What are the words you would have wanted to hear? What are the questions that you think would have been appropriate for you, not some of the things that people get wrong out there?
Like now, the emotional cases, it's obvious, it's hard to give evidence. When you go there to report and they tell you, letter evidence, it discourages you. But then you unaendanga home and you're like, acha tu nifikirie vingine. But I guess for emotional cases, I think the psychologist will be the best decision. Because at least he can read your mind. Mnaweza engage na vizuri. But for the physical abuses, then at least you can find physical evidence, then it's good you go to the police. But I think the police should upgrade on the way they handle people. People are different. There are things you'd say to me, I'd feel offended. But maybe you never meant to offend me. So when you go to the police and the police asks you, like now for the men cases, and he tells you, ulipigwa na mwanamke ukifanya nini? Surely, hiyo siwe unafunganga tu hiyo kesi we mwenyewe. You don't even know how to explain. Sasa unadhani hapa ndo umekuja kusaidika, and it's even worse than where you're from. Police, try accommodating people. Aside from the job, we're also human. The way una handle mtoto wako, the way una handle bibi yako, it's the same way. And I do tell people, put yourself in my shoe, walk my journey, then now judge me. When I come to you and I'm like, hey, nimefanyiwa hivi na hivi, or I've been raped, stop saying, ati, ulikuwa umevaa nini? By the way, it's never the dress. It's never the dress. Perpetrator ni perpetrator tu. Hata uvae nini? What about now the babies? Wenye wanakuanga wamevaa diapers. What do they wear? Nothing. So nikikuja kwako, just accommodate me. Kama unaona itakuwa ngumu kwako, refer me to someone else.
What's the worst question? And I don't know if you don't feel like answering this question, you don't have to. What's the worst question or questions you've been asked by people, maybe well-meaning, not even police, even just members of the public, that you felt that is such an ignorant question or perspective?
Wewe uoni nini kuaibisha familia yako? Mamako akisikia historia atasema nini? And you find it so hard. Yeah.
Similar to you, what do some people who visit your institution say? What are things now you've learned as you counsel and support people? How can we be more empathetic?
We need to take people seriously. When people come to seek assistance to us, is because they have realized that you are the best people, or they have chosen you because they feel this is where they can get help. We need to take men and women and children seriously when they come to us. There's no room for doubt. There's no room to shame them. There's no room to feel that they are not telling the truth. We need to take people seriously.
How do we handle the issue that she has raised of public shame? And I also want Ken to talk a bit about that. The stigma around GBV and SGBV is, we are in 2021, we're in the era of technology and computerization, everything, but there are people watching this program today who say, no matter what you guys say on that show, I will never talk to anyone about what I'm going through.
All right.
I'd rather die with it within me.
All right. everybody should be involved in addressing issues of violence against women, children, and men. Everybody, they have a role to play. Both the religious leaders, even the way psychologists have said that they don't want to hear that you have to stay in that relationship until death comes. But we need to be involved. We need to sit down, even in our families. We need to sit down in our institutions, even here at Citizen as an institution, to sit down and think about people who are going through violence. Because people who are going through violence, they can't perform, they can't give their best. So we need to have discussions, we need to have places where people can come together, safe places where people can talk about it. And I'm happy, actually, we are having safe houses now. Although they are coming for women, we have safe houses, we don't have one.
Safe house for men
actually, yet. I have one or two cases of men who needed to go to safe houses. But unfortunately, there were no safe houses for men. We need to start thinking about
So what do you do to help that man?
It's only counseling. We just counsel them, and we ask them, who is it that they feel that they can stay with them, who they can accommodate them better. Then we ask them whether they can bring them on board. Then we discuss with them so that they can accommodate them as they look for a way of, overcoming the challenge that they are going through.
Okay.
So it's not easy. Men are going through a lot of violence, and especially the way the psychologists said, I have received calls from some of them who are telling me, I've met some of them who are telling me, I want to commit suicide, I want to die, because I'm not taken seriously. I go to report to the children department. They feel it is the prerogative of the mother to stay with the children, and the children are suffering. I have a photo here of a gentleman who sent me and told me, look at my child when I was staying with them, and the child now is really malnourished. The truth of the matter is the child is really looking sickly and malnourished. And if maybe the children officer could maybe hand over, because the man is saying, I'm ready to take care of this child, just like the way I did. People said, and my in-laws were telling me, how can you take care of a baby girl? I stayed with the baby girl in the house for several months. I said, I will not even employ someone. I will stay with them. So these are things that we need to change. As a society, we need to change our norms. This should be our daily conversation. It is my prayer people can just make it as a daily conversation in their homes, in their churches, everywhere. And somebody said it needs to be intertwined in the new curriculum. I wish they can do that. People to start discussing about issues of violence against children, GBV, these issues at early childhood, so that people can appreciate one another.
Thank you for that. Zipporah, coming to you, Steve Juma has opened up an interesting discussion, the question of evidence. There are people who are watching, yes, they want to go and report. It could be emotional, could be physical. They don't even know what are they going to ask me. So help us understand, what are some of the common questions that what should a police officer ask you in a gentle and humane manner? What are the wrong questions that people shouldn't be afraid because they won't be asked that as well? But someone also asked an interesting question. What happens if the incident happened 6 months ago? Is there a deadline by which I must report for it to be valid? If it happened in 2017, is it still a valid complaint?
Okay. Thank you so much, Maura. Yes, the issue of evidence is very critical on matters SGBV. And there is a timeline for evidence that still has its value. Remember, the kind of evidence we're talking about here is forensic evidence. And it is so unfortunate and so, I don't know how to bring it out, but a crime scene is where the evidence is found. If there was a road accident, we would send our crime scene experts to the road. If there was a robbery, they will come and collect evidence in the house. But on this particular crime, and that's why Poricare is very passionate about it, the crime scene is the victim. So when you come and make a report, and the legal framework does not allow police officers to collect that evidence because it is inside your body, that is why there is a referral path. You've got to go to hospital, because the person taking that evidence will be required to fill in medical report on physical and whatever he found or whatever she found. So this person is a crime scene. And maybe that person has been abused in Kayore. And she's coming to Gender Recovery Center in Nairobi. Check the distance, or to Mama Rusi. And sometimes they don't even have that money, and maybe they're even hurting because you know the point of contact where it has taken place it's inside your body. So it is very humiliating when, again, you subject this person to more traumatizing questions. Like, why were you dressed the way you were? And I'm happy because a 2-year-old baby, I've heard of cases where even a 1 year, 6 months. Just the other day, we buried a beautiful, beautiful girl. Beautiful. I cried my heart out because the uncle actually abused her. And she'd been left by the sister to take care of the baby, and the mom was picking firewood from the forest. And I know the man, I think we did a mental analysis. He's a drug abuser. So I don't know whether he looked at this baby and found a wife in her, tore her
yeah, I think we understand.
It was bad, and she bred, and she died. And when she died, he buried her behind and then disappeared. Now, questions that I would ask our investigators to ask. If it's in the issue of where were you at that particular time, it is important because we need to enter into our occurrence book the time which the offense took place, because our occurrence book is date, time, and place. But there is a different way I can ask the same question. Instead of asking you, what were you doing at that particular time? It would be better if I asked the same question at kindly let me know at that particular time when this happened, was it in the morning? Was it noontime? Would you kind of remember at what time of the day it was? Then she'll say in the afternoon. Was it before 1 o'clock or before, you bring her, she'll actually say, it was at, I didn't have a watch, it was at 3 in the morning. Okay, on the issue of why didn't you report when it happened, you don't need to ask that. You just need to ask the same question and ask this person, when this happened to you, is there any particular thing that held you from letting anybody know about this? It's the same question, but I'm asking differently. Issue of witness, honesty. This kind of questions, nani aliona, nani alisikia mulikuwa na nani? It is important because we need a very watertight case because, in Kenya, the burden of proof is on he who alleges that A, B, C, D happened to me. And the magistrate and everybody within when we go to court will be expecting watertight. So the burden is on the victim, while the perpetrator will be sitting back to question you, ask you questions, hata sikujui, mimi sikukuona, uliniona. So you ask this person the same question. When this happened to you, did anybody come to your help? They should remember, yeah, I screamed, so already it tells you what she did. I shouted, I ran, and there's this person who came. Or it was in the middle of nowhere. I cried, I shouted, I looked for help, and nobody came. So don't ask, hiyo duru yote ulipiga na hakuna mtu alisikia? Yeah? Kwa nini hakuna mtu alikuja kukusaidia? Same question, but you are building your case. Then there is also the issue of question like, na si huyu munajuana? Si ulikula fare? Unajua now the issue of umekula mali yake alafu wakati mnakosana unakuja. It's the same question that you can ask this person who did this to you, because most of the time the person who is abusing you has a relation or kindly knows you, or either it's a revenge or it's a person there is a level of, but still there are those ones, it's a complete stranger. It's gang rape, it's a complete stranger, or it's thieves who had broken into the house. So you ask this person, the person who did this to you, has he done anything like this before? And when he did it, was it as bad as it is right now? So those are now the trauma-informed investigation, trauma-informed questioning. But it will call for a lot of training. And this is what, after running this program, we are going into training so that we can have all actors within Paricare to be trained on evidence-based investigation and trauma-informed questioning.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. A very comprehensive. And even as we hear from our psychologist here, Ken, on that shame issue, the public shame issue, she said it, kwa nini unaibisha familia, unataka jina yetu ijulikane kwa TV, etc. And kudos to both of you for coming to share your experiences and for both of you as well. How do you overcome shame?
It's a process of rebuilding. One of the things people must understand, whether you're facing any challenge, devoid the GBV that you're talking about, please forget what people think about you. Many a times people care so much about the opinions of others that they forget themselves, and that's why you find yourself getting lost in situations because you're so worried about what people will think about you. Forget about people. Forget about your family. Don't worry what they will say. They did not go through this experience. It's you. It will be hurting that your mother or your father would think that because you're talking, you're putting them into shame. And that's why you find, and I don't know whether I would have the statistics right, but the costs and the eastern regions, they have that way of settling it within families so that we do not shout it out there. The moment we keep condoning, we are entertaining.
Yes.
And the only way out is talk about it into the open so that even the ones who have not yet been caught can know hapa kuna shida. If you follow what was happening in the US with R. Kelly, issues that happened so long ago, but justice is deemed to be served. One of the things that I like about our country is when the judge is passing a judgment, they will say, iwe funzo kwako na kwa wengine wenye tabia kama hiyo. Yeah? So don't keep it to yourself. Don't look at what people will think about you. Don't worry so much about, we call it the external locus. Worry about the internal, because you're the one who is hurting. If you carry this burden and you carry it alone, you're going to sulk into depression. So are you better when you're depressed so that your family is not put to shame? You are better when you're healing. And you need to know that if you're not sharing it, you're carrying it. And the only way to make it lighter is share. Share, talk about it. Zilpa talked about it, and she was very candid to say, a problem shared is half solved. Many a times, it's actually 3/4 solved. I've been in therapy where people just come to talk, and I say nothing, and they are okay. Because they have talked about a problem. So talk it out. You do not have to go and confine to people that you are not even sure whether they will keep it to themselves. But if you cannot do it, there are other ways of doing some of these things. I like telling men, if you cannot shout because you don't want the surrounding to know that you're shouting, go attend a football match. Gor Mahia and AFC. When they are dancing, go and start dancing. Go and attend activities that are going to bring out the energy in you. Start dancing. When you see people going out to rave, some are not going to drink. Some are just wanting to bring out the energy in them. Bring out that energy. Don't carry a lot of bad energy, because a lot of bad energy has a way of making you aggressive. And bring out that anger. You need to know that anger is a letter away from danger. If you just put D before the anger, it becomes danger. So deal with your own anger and know what makes you angry. If somebody is making you angry, avoid them. Being alone does not mean you're lonely, and people need to start enjoying their own time. And do you know, you can actually leave your family that you have been born into if they are bad energy towards you. People don't know that if your family is draining out the energy in you, can you avoid them for your better? Yeah. I know family are supposed to come together and enjoy, but there are families that you go into events and you did not even want to go, but because your mother made a comment, watoto wangu wote lazima wakuje. And then you go and sit in the sitting room alone, the others are making fun of you in the kitchen. Please don't go there. You can form a new family. You can go to people who actually enjoy you. Don't stay in places where you're being tolerated. Stay in places where you're being celebrated.
You're being celebrated. I like that. And before we get final thoughts from my guests, let's read some of your feedback. I'm seeing a lot of messages, some from women who find themselves in a tough spot, others from men. Let's see if we can put some of those up at the moment. We start with tweets. Biggie123, you say, many men are silently going through GBV. When they come out, they are mocked as weak men. The socialization process never prepared men to share their experiences. Okay, I hope the psychologist will tackle this in his closing remarks. Weak men, what is that? Okela Mwalimu, you say the major enemies to the fight against GBV are patriarchal social norms, backward culture and poverty. The less talked about forms of GBV are child marriages, trafficking for sexual exploitation. The perpetrators of GBV must face the full force of the law. Thank you, Okelo. Okoya for David, you say it's only in the developed countries like America that you can call the police in case of the violence of your next door neighbor and they respond quickly, but not in Kenya. That's Okoya
now.
for David. I'll give you, Zipporah, a chance to respond to that. Governor 254, you say the full implementation of GBV laws and policies by adopting a GBV indicator in the government performance contracting framework to track duty bearers' accountability on enforcement and implementation of GBV laws and policies by 2022. A very technical tweet there. Okay, we're going to SMSs. Okay, let's see what you're saying via 22422. No name, but you say, thanks, Madam Zipporah. I'm your colleague, married to a colleague. And my question comes to you directly. Just recently, speculation of policemen not marrying one another has hit many marriages, more so in the police. What best advice can you give people like us? I'm not sure you can answer that, unless you want to. Please note that. Lucas Winder from Nairobi, you say, young people should learn to coexist with harmony. We have to tolerate one another to avoid GBV. All right. Viewer, no name, you say, very good topic, combating GBV. But most of the times, there's a gap from medical experts to the courts. There's no clear way on reimbursement of the expenses spent, e.g., the fare from the facility to the courts. It's expensive, okay. And one last one, no name. You say, all what Joshua is saying is very true. To keep our GBV, we must come together and support each other. As a man, support your partner, get in the kitchen, make something for the family, wash clothes, show that love. In fact, we need to change and act very quickly. I'd seen two messages that I want to read here. Dr. Kipchem says, on the part of evidence, I would like to add that county governments should help doctors we get more kits to collect evidence, and the government should have a government chemist in every county to help in finding the DNA of the perpetrators. While someone says here, oh, I think that was already, okay, GBV, governor, he's called Governor the Dreamer. GBV can include sexual, physical, mental, economic harm inflicted. So there's economic harm inflicted in public or in private. It also includes threats of violence, coercion, and manipulation. This can take many forms such as intimate partner violence, sexual violence, child marriage, and FGM. And somebody has said here, you love this is a Caroline from Tharaka-Nithi. You say you love the discussion on GBV, but you don't know why we don't have a healthcare provider in our panel, because that is where a lot of evidence gets tampered. Well, Caroline, thanks for that. That's a good point. We couldn't host everyone, but in our next discussion, we will be sure to include a healthcare provider. Let me get final thoughts from each of you. You've read the questions. You can either choose to respond to one of the questions or give us your final thought on this topic and encouragement to people out there as well. And let me start with you, Zilpi, or Zilpa, on this.
I guess my final thoughts will come in as questions to the government and to the police as well. Like now, if you follow up the referral pathways, you realize that there's somewhere you need a police doctor. And it's so funny, in Kenya, we only have two police doctors. So you can imagine someone with a GBV case from Kisumu having to travel to traffic, and they only have 2 police doctors. So that also delays justice, by the way, and survivors get bored, and so they lose it on the way. And now the safe house issue. Like now, I'm the victim here. I go to Ken, and after counseling, I go back to the perpetrator. There's no safe house.
Zero work.
Yeah, so I think, and most of the safe houses are set up by the NGOs. So I think the government should also take this as an initiative so that you can fight GBV together.
Thank you for that. Let me give you a chance now, Joshua.
All right, thank you. I would like to say that violence against women, men, and children and HIV, they are connected. So they are both a consequence and a cause and a consequence. Therefore, we need to, if we need to address HIV, if we need to, we cannot address HIV alone, we cannot address GBV alone, we need to realize these issues are interconnected. Therefore, there's need to understand that. Again, we need to discuss at length these issues we are talking about of balance of power. Let's discuss about the benefits of non-violence in our relationships. Every time you sit down with your partner, talk to them about issues of non-violence. Ask them, what if we stayed without violence? What if you don't insult me? What are the benefits that we are likely to get? What if you don't beat me anytime you find that I've done a mistake? So let's encourage non-violence in our relationships and discuss the benefits of non-violence. That helps a lot in our relationships.
I actually want you to speak to a lady here who has messaged twice saying they feel like employing violence against a stepfather. Ameandika hapa nimechoka mazee, nimechoka kabisa. Just send them that message directly.
What are they saying?
They want to.
To do what?
Kill.
To kill their father?
Yes.
A
stepfather.
A stepfather?
Yes. There are other non-violent ways of resolving the issue. Tell them. Do they call those numbers? Just remind them once.
They need to call those numbers. There's no need of killing. Like myself, I didn't kill my in-law.
Yes, and they're not here to defend themselves, so I'll ask you to.
I'm just saying.
Yes.
There's no need. The most important thing is to call these numbers and to realize that you need to seek support. There are people who are ready to talk to you. They're toll-free numbers. There are people that if you have someone that you trust, go and share with them. Tell them I need support sincerely. What is happening in my life? I feel it's really, getting a toll on me, and I need support. Therefore, it's important. Call 1190. You will find someone right now who will talk to you.
Thank you. Zipporah, some questions were directed police-wise. You can tackle those as you give us your final thoughts.
Okay. There is a question about my colleague. This one I ask, let's go back home, nyuma ya hema. I welcome you to the Directorate of Gender as we wait for Poricare to roll out. You can reach out to me. We have a whole spectrum of well-wishers, and all our partners who are working closely with Poricare will be in a position to take it through. We have our internal mechanism where we can report these things. But if you want to do it confidentially, my girl, I'm here, reach out to me. I will be there for you. Don't, especially in the National Police Service, honestly, don't die when I'm here. I will give you my back. Before I go to the community, I'm gonna start at home. And I quite regret that, but keep your hope, don't hurt yourself. 72 hours is the time required for forensic evidence so that it is not deteriorated and can still maintain its evidential value. You can reach us on our toll-free number 0800 730 999. That's the National Police toll-free number where you can reach us out. I want to say that I have a Christmas gift coming, Ari, for you, and this goes to the community in Laikipia, where His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, gave a Kisima Declaration, matters SGBV. Nanyuki, Poricare is coming up. We are almost loofing. We almost, I think by very first week of November, we're going to have the very first model that has come from the ground. Nanyuki, this is your Christmas gift. We started in Nairobi, you've overtaken us, and this is courtesy of British training, Army training unit, Batuk, in Nanyuki. They're supporting us, and Engineer Koome, the Commandant, Main Campus, Kenya Police College, is supervising the work under the leadership of Deputy Inspector General. Holistically, don't worry about the underreporting And the issues of shame, don't be ashamed of your own life. Your life is inside you. It's not about what the community is saying. It's not what your pastor is saying. It is not what your mama is saying. She's also going through these in different aspects and maneuvering. Come out, police. We've not only changed our uniform, we have changed our mind. We have changed the way we are looking at things. We have changed our attitude, and we are now more trauma-informed. And that is why, as we chase the perpetrator, we have come back for you, the victim. Trust us. Trust the road. Walk the journey with us. Trust the pig. And love the sausage.
Okay. Thank you for that. Ken, before I give you a chance to give your final thoughts, let's give an update in regards to the story of the self-confessed serial killer, Masten Wanjala. News just in, he has been lynched by members of the public in Muhwea, Kabuchai. Actually, the news is in now, but he was lynched on Thursday evening by a mob. Wanjala was identified as he played soccer with locals. That's news just in. We are getting those reports right now that the self-confessed serial killer there, Masten Wanjala, behind the murder of 13 minors killed in Muhwea village, Bungoma County, Kabuchai. The area chief there, Boniface Ndiara, has confirmed, saying that Wanjala was killed at his home area. We received reports that he was identified by locals as he was playing soccer, and he was lynched by that mob last night. We're not sure of the exact time, location, Muhwea, Kabuchai, Bungoma County, the self-confessed serial killer, Masten Wanjala, and this has been confirmed by the area chief, Boniface Ndiara, at this time to Citizen TV. Of course, he was behind the murder of 13 minors, and when his information about his activities came to light, this is a matter that had really gripped the attention of the public. Then we know this week he escaped from where he had been detained as the case was ongoing, and he is now no more, having been killed in Muhwea village in Bungoma County. So that's the latest that we have in regards to Masten Wanjala. And a bit later, or actually in a minute or so, we'll be speaking with the chief who has confirmed this incident. Remember, of course, just to give you some insights, he was due to appear in court on Wednesday over the murders of at least 13 minors in the capital and areas of eastern and western Kenya. But the authorities confirmed that he disappeared during the morning roll call. He escaped from the cells in Nairobi, but now in Bungoma County. And that's the information that we have. Actually, just a confirmation. It wasn't Thursday evening when he was lynched. We're actually being told it was this morning. Beg your pardon for that. Not Thursday evening, but this morning by a mob. That's the information that we have. I'll be speaking with the chief shortly to get exact details of that. That is Area Chief Boniface Ndiara. Before that, Ken, I want to give you 1 minute. Time has run out now because of this information. What's your last word on our topic?
But Wahiga, some things in this country look like it's a movie. And it's good that we have the Kenya Police Service here. The audacity in this country is wanting. Somebody escapes in Nairobi and is being lynched in Kakamega, honestly. The other one kills somebody in Eldoret and is arrested in Mombasa. The audacity in this country, we need to check ourselves. But all in all, well, all is said and done, I would say, please take care of your head. You spend your entire life there. And don't worry about what your neighbor is thinking about you. If you're not normal, take care of yourself first before you take any other cost to your neighbor.
Okay.
I've said this, allow me to repeat, some broken engagements are better than broken marriages. And if you realize that the red flags are starting to appear earlier in your relationship, please cut it off. There is no age of getting married. Age is just but a number. So don't worry that you're getting late and people will start questioning you, why aren't you getting married, and you end up being like desperate. So please don't, and reach out. It's the strongest who know that they need to seek help.
It's
so
the strongest who know that they need to seek help. Thank you so much, Ken. I know there's a lot more you could have said, but thank you for just really summarizing that for us. And to each of my guests who joined us for this discussion, Ken Munywa, psychologist, thank you for your time this morning. Zipporah Nderito, Superintendent of Police, asante sana. We'll continue monitoring Polycare and update our viewers on what more they can do to engage with that. We've had Joshua Nyolo, who's a program officer, LVCT, thank you, and Zilpa Ayo, a businesswoman and GBV survivor as well. And to our viewers who've sent in your questions and your comments, we truly appreciate. Now, we've just updated you on that breaking news. Masten Wanjala lynched in Muhwea, Kabuchai, the self-confessed serial killer. And at this time, we want to bring in Area Chief. Do we have him on the line, Boniface Diarra, just to confirm exactly what happened. Bwana Chief, thanks so much for your time this morning. You're speaking with Wahiga Mwaura at Citizen TV. What can you tell us now about this incident, the lynching of Masten Wanjala? Chief, sijui kama unanisikia? Chief, it sounds like you're in a very noisy place. That's the Area Chief, Boniface Diarra, Muhwea in Kabuchai. Chief, sijui kama unanipata? Okay, we seem to have a challenge in regards to that. But what we know is that self-confessed serial killer behind the murder of at least 13 minors, Masten Milimo Wanjala, killed in Muhwea village, Bungoma County. We were hoping to speak with the Area Chief, Boniface Diarra, just to give you a few more details on exactly what happened, but it sounds like he's in a really noisy area. We had him on the line a couple of minutes ago, but we seem to have lost contact with him. But in terms of the breaking news, what you need to know, Masten Wanjala, Milimo, who obviously burst into the limelight after he confessed to killing more than 10 children in the country, murders of at least 13 minors in Nairobi, areas of eastern and western Kenya. We know that earlier this week he disappeared during the morning roll call from police cells here in Nairobi. 3 police officers who were on duty at the time of his escape have been charged with aiding a suspect escape from lawful custody and negligence of duty. Authorities had launched a manhunt for him, describing him as extremely dangerous. And now we are told, and this has been confirmed by that Area Chief, Boniface Diarra, that he has been killed, lynched by a mob this morning in Muhwea village, Bungoma County. And just to recap, remember this man was arrested in July, and he confessed to drugging and killing young boys, and to some extent even went on to state that he drank their blood in some cases. Truly gory details there. I won't go too much into that, but I'm sure you're familiar with the circumstances around that. It was all that was being reported back in July. And so we are hoping to get the chief just to give you more details on this, the Area Chief of in Muhwea village, Bungoma County, who we actually had on the line a couple of minutes ago. But we seem to have a challenge with that connection right now. So what you need to know, Masten Milimo Wanjala lynched in Muhwea, Kabuchai in Bungoma County this morning by a mob. He was identified by the locals, and this obviously is something that we want to continue updating you on as and when we get more details. If we get the chief on the line, we'll come back to you with more details. But at the moment, there is a challenge with that. I'm told we are now about to speak to the Deputy County Commissioner, and as soon as we have them on the line, we'll be able to give you an update on the same in regards to that. But of course, it's been a really big mystery from Wednesday when during the morning roll call, Masten Milimo Wanjala missing, not able to be traced. 3 police officers who are on duty at the time of his escape from Jogoo Road police station in the Eastlands area of Nairobi. A lot of questions that they needed to answer. They have been charged with aiding a suspect escape from lawful custody and negligence of duty. And whilst all this was happening, the authorities had launched a hunt for the man who had been described as extremely dangerous. But the information that we have this morning is that he is no more. You know, the location of where this happened is Muhwea in Kabuchai in Bungoma County. Details still scanty for now. I'm only telling you what I know at the moment. As soon as we have more details, we'll be able to update you on the same. But obviously, this is something that the nation has been following closely from July when the name Masten Milimo Wanjala became a national name known, of course, but not for good reason, obviously, after he confessed to that incident of killing more than 10 children across the country. And he was due to actually appear in court this Wednesday over those murders before this incident happened. So I believe at this moment we probably will take a short break. If we can get more information for you, then that's when we'll come back and give you that particular update. But of course, in our various broadcasts and on our social media as well, on our website, www.citizentv.co.ke, you'll be able to get more information as and when we get them. Thanks so much for having tuned in. Let's take a short break. We come back with more.